Released at a time when the cinematic landscape was already saturated with vampire-themed films, Underworld managed to carve out its own distinct niche. Despite facing stiff competition from numerous predecessors in the genre, the movie proved to be a significant success, quickly amassing a dedicated fan base drawn to its stylish aesthetic, intricate lore, and compelling action. This initial triumph wasn't just a fleeting moment. It successfully launched a lucrative franchise that continued to thrive for many years, expanding its universe through multiple sequels and a prequel, and solidifying its place as a notable entry in modern Gothic action cinema. In this video, we're diving deep into the shadowy universe of Underworld, exploring the fascinating elements that went into crafting its unique story, from its blend of science and mythology to its Romeo and Juliet inspirations. We'll also delve into the casting choices that brought these iconic characters to life and uncover some incredible behind-the-scenes details and trivia that happened during the film's production. So get ready to peel back the layers of this vampiric and Lycan epic. And without further ado, let's dig into it. One striking detail about Kevin Grevius's portrayal of the Lycan rays is that his remarkably deep and resonant voice was entirely natural. Many viewers and fans of the film assume that special effects were used to achieve the character's imposing vocal quality. However, Grevius himself has confirmed that no such modifications were made. His speaking voice genuinely possesses that impressive depth, which has become a distinctive part of his acting presence.
80 rounds, high content, preventing him from making the change. You know, I guess science fiction was my first love, but how do you make a career out of science fiction? You can't, so then I went into the real sciences, majored in microbiology at Howard University and studied genetic engineering at grad school.
Grevius, who co-created and wrote the original screenplay for Underworld, holds a degree in microbiology and pursued graduate studies in genetic engineering at Howard University. Drawing from that scientific background, he deliberately reimagined vampires and werewolves not as mystical beings, but as the result of viral mutations, a kind of super rabies that alters DNA. He found traditional lore inconsistent and wanted a framework that made more logical sense, especially for a modern audience. This science-based approach gave Underworld its sleek biotech noir edge and helped it stand apart from other supernatural franchises. It's also why the film leans into terms like mutation, infection, and strain, rather than spells or curses. Also interestingly, the movie was initially pitched as Romeo and Juliet for vampires and werewolves, and Grevius has openly shared that the love story between Celine and Michael was inspired by his own experiences with interracial relationships. He described facing hostility and prejudice in real life, which shaped the emotional core of the film's forbidden love theme. In his words, the idea of a vampire and a werewolf falling in love, two beings from warring factions, was a metaphor for the societal backlash he'd witnessed and endured. During the filming, actor Scott Speedman, who played Michael Corvin, sustained an accidental injury. In the scene where the powerful ancient vampire Victor throws Michael through a wall, a piece of the set designed to look like debris from the impact unexpectedly hit Speedman in the head, causing him to suffer a concussion. But despite the setback, Speedman recovered and completed his role in the film. There were discussions at one point for a crossover film between the Underworld series and Marvel's Blade franchise, with the possibility of Wesley Snipes returning as the iconic Daywalker. However, Marvel Studios ultimately declined the proposition. Their reasoning was that they had their own long-term plans for the Blade character within their cinematic universe, and they wanted to maintain creative control over how he would be reintroduced and developed, rather than having him appear in a crossover outside their established continuity. This decision paved the way for Marvel's later announcement of a new Blade film, with Mahershala Ali taking on the role. This movie was quite significant for Kate Beckinsale's personal life. Not only did she meet her future husband, director Len Wiseman, on set, but at the time she was in a long-term relationship with actor Michael Sheen, who played Lucian in the film. Adding another layer to this dynamic, Michael and Kate share a daughter, Lily, who even made a brief appearance in the sequel, Underworld Evolution, during a flashback sequence depicting a younger Selene. Despite the complex circumstances, Michael Sheen and Len Wiseman have since developed a close friendship, even collaborating on the prequel, Underworld Rise of the Lycans, which Wiseman produced and Sheen starred in. Kate and Michael have also maintained a very close co-parenting relationship for their daughter, with Kate often referring to Michael as her best friend, showcasing a remarkable and admirable post-relationship dynamic in Hollywood. Beckinsale and Wiseman got married in 2004, but they separated in 2015 and finalized their divorce in 2019. Since then, both have moved on personally and professionally. Director Len Wiseman made a conscious effort to achieve many of the film's intense action and effects practically, minimizing the use of CGI. A notable example is the exhilarating sequence where the werewolf, Lycan, appears to run at an incredible speed, keeping pace with a speeding car. This impressive visual was not a digital trick. Instead, it was accomplished through an elaborate camera rig towed behind a vehicle. For the close-up shots of Lycan running and leaping onto the car, actor Michael Sheen performed the movements, bringing his physicality to the role. For the longer shots, which emphasize the sheer speed of the creature, stuntman Todd Schneider expertly took over, creating a seamless and believable depiction of a Lycan in full pursuit, all without relying on artificial computer effects. Several reports allege that before Kate Beckinsale was cast as the lead vampire Selene, other prominent actresses were considered for the role, including Halle Berry and Mila Jovovich. Rona Mitra was also in contention for the role, but she later went on to play Sonya, a significant character in the prequel Underworld Rise of the Lycans. And in a notable update for fans, the 2017 4K remaster of the original Underworld film features a change to a key flashback scene. When Michael recounts Sonya's tragic demise to Lycan, the original brief flashbacks from the 2003 version have been replaced with the more extensive and detailed scene depicting Sonya's actual death from the prequel movie, starring Rona Mitra, providing a consistent visual narrative across the franchise. The name Selene is steeped in ancient Greek mythology and meaning, as it's the name of the Greek goddess of the moon, an archaic lunar deity often depicted riding her chariot across the night sky. This connection to the moon is further emphasized by the term seleniophile, which describes someone who loves the moon. Interestingly, according to Kevin Grevius, the character of Selene was specifically modeled after the Black Queen Selene, a powerful psychic vampire and member of the Hellfire Club from the X-Men comic books, drawing inspiration from another formidable female figure in popular culture. Additionally, Kate Beckinsale underwent a rigorous preparation regimen to portray the lithe and formidable vampire Selene. She adhered to a strict diet primarily consisting of chicken and cabbage for several weeks, aimed at achieving the lean physique necessary to fit into her famously tight leather costume. Adding to the physical demands of the role, Beckinsale also contracted pneumonia during filming. This unfortunate illness, exacerbated by the sub-zero temperatures prevalent on set, contributed further to her weight loss, inadvertently assisting her in maintaining the desired look for the character. Interestingly, Beckinsale initially passed on the role of Selene because she wasn't keen on doing a vampire versus werewolf film. But director Len Wiseman, who is also a talented storyboard artist, had already created concept drawings of Selene, and remarkably, they bore a striking resemblance to Beckinsale, even though he hadn't met her yet. When Wiseman reached out and urged her to reconsider, she looked at the script in those drawings. Seeing her own likeness in the artwork helped shift her perspective. She later said the visuals were not what I was expecting, and that they made her realize the film had a slick, stylish edge that set it apart from typical genre fare. That moment not only changed her mind, it also sparked the beginning of her long-running role as Selene, and eventually her real-life relationship with Wiseman. Before its theatrical release, Underworld faced a significant legal challenge when White Wolf, a tabletop role-playing game company, and author Nancy Collins filed a lawsuit against Sony Pictures, Screen Gems, and Lakeshore Entertainment on September 4, 2003. They alleged 17 counts of copyright infringement, claiming that the film bore over 70 unique similarities to White Wolf's popular role-playing games, Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse, which are both set within their shared universe, the World of Darkness. Furthermore, Nancy Collins asserted that the entire plot of Underworld was based on her 1994 short story, The Love of Monsters, also set in the World of Darkness. The lawsuit was eventually settled out of court for an undisclosed sum, allowing the film to proceed with its release. And that wraps up this deep dive into the fascinating world of Underworld. From the surprising scientific inspirations behind its lore to the incredible dedication of its cast and all the intriguing behind-the-scenes stories, it's clear this film has a lot more going on than meets the eye. So if you enjoyed uncovering these fun facts and learning more about how this cult classic came to be, please consider hitting that thumbs up button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next video.